might say that Christmas is a time of year all about forgiveness, forgetting, and of course, glad tidings and all that sort of stuff. You know me, I'm all for putting out the true message of Christmas. It's all about really trying to move on, look at your life and see exactly where you've got at that point, isn't it? And also, of course, indulging in one or two mince pies, sherry trifles, Christmas pud. Oh, don't you? You just, oh, it's lovely stuff, isn't it? And then, of course, in January, what are you bombarded with? You need to get to the gym, you're too fat, you shouldn't have eaten so much. That's a problem, of course, with Christmas. The other problem is this, Harry and Meghan. And how do you solve a problem like Christmas? As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning, how are you? Nice to see you. As ever, thank you so much for joining me today. It's nice to have your company, truly, and we'll have a wave. Absolutely. This building behind me, by the way, here, was once a children's school. Do you remember when they were sort of small like that? And, literally, it seems such big buildings, don't they? And you look at them now and think, wow, so many people got educated here. Something, Now, what's interesting here is there's, as ever, stories that pop up in the world's media about how Harry and Meghan would like now to be invited, say, to summer up in Balmoral, or indeed Christmas at Sandringham, or indeed Windsor. They simply haven't had the invite. Now, what we always like to do on this show, as I say, a lot of people knee-jerk reaction to these stories, jump on them and say, oh, it's terrible, all that sort of stuff. You dig a little bit deeper. What you have to remember here, quite frankly, is that the newspaper that decided to break this particular story has a vested interest in another book that they're promoting. We told you about it, you know which one it is. So, kind of paint the picture quite badly, nasty king, nasty family, all of that sort of stuff. Now, the true story about Harry and Meghan and Christmas is this. Meghan Markle simply does not want to return back to the United Kingdom. She's had her fill. She tried it, tried to get on Strictly Come Dancing, tried to box off with Max Cardle from, of course, X Factor, and Ashley Cole, the footballer. She tried everything and then hit pay dirt with a rather deluded Prince Harry. Now, the bottom line is this. Where do they truly stand on the Christmas and invites in general? Well, there's one big problem, and it's this. Yes, you're looking at it right now. Absolutely. William and Catherine, but they're not the only ones also. As we've told you many times, a lot of people would not feel secure about this particular situation. You see, how could you possibly really relax and, kick your heels off and sit back and think, right, if every conversation, every move, nuance was going to be reported? And truly, that is the bigger problem. His Majesty the King is nothing but forgiving, and what we can tell you is simply this, that yes, he would more than welcome his youngest son, along with grandchildren back, but more importantly, what he would like to see is them, of course, independently. He doesn't want to ruffle feathers with any other members of his family. Now, what normally happens is Christmas Day is a big, normal family celebration. The children have their lunch, if they're a little too young, in another room, and then, of course, is they get together for His Majesty the King's speech at 3 p.m. Everybody sits down to watch that together. Can you imagine how tense that might be with Meghan Markle in the room, possibly tapping away on her iPhone? On a serious note, though, what the King imagines that could possibly happen is that they could stay off-site, literally somewhere else, and have an independent private audience with him, no doubt, with a couple of people with him, and under the proviso that nothing was, presented, leaked, or indeed told to said media. So that's the deal, but there's no invite either way. They know that Prince Harry is, would like to come back for Christmas, but Meghan Markle won't. He's not going to leave her and his children at Christmas. So once again, he's tied by family commitments. As for His Majesty the King spurning Harry and Meghan, it's simply not true. As we told you before, the King's a very shrewd man deep down, and the proviso what he'd like his youngest son to do is go and meet, of course, Thomas Markle, possibly with proof. It's a developing story. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.